Hey guys, Mr. Starry. Just wanted to talk about negatives and fractions. But before I get into that, remember when we work with fractions, they should always be reduced. Also, something else we need to understand is that improper fractions are okay. Sometimes it's our mathematical nature to just take an improper fraction and convert it to mixed. That's not necessary for what we're about to do. What I want to talk about today is, the different forms that a fraction can take when a part of it is negative. Meaning, if I look at my first example here, this is -3/4, right? But what I want you to understand is that we actually have the ability to assign this negative to either my numerator or denominator without changing the value of the fraction. What I mean by this is all three of these fractions can be read as -3/4. And what that goes back to is our divisibility of integer rules, right? The fact that a positive divided by a negative will yield a negative answer. A negative divided by a positive will give a negative answer as well. So these three fractions that we see here in blue are all the same and they're all negative, right? And this fraction can take any one of these forms at any time, and we can actually interchange between these forms if we want to. Looking in red here, notice that my numerator and denominator are both negative. Again, going back to our divisibility rules, a negative divided by a negative is just a positive number. So when we have a negative numerator and a negative denominator, that's actually the same as the positive value of that fraction, right? So what we need to understand is -8 over -5 is actually the same thing as 8 over 5. Last but not least, down here in black, I have 0 over 8, 0 over -6, and just 0, right? What we need to understand is that, 0 divided by any number, remember our fraction bar can be considered division. 0 divided by any number is just going to give me a number of 0. So when I see a 0 in the numerator and I have a non-zero denominator, well, that's just 0. That's all I have for you today. I'll talk to you in the next one.